I'm just going to quickly introduce Snigdha, our guest speaker for today. So she is a second-year student at UC Davis who's majoring in neurobiology, physiology, and behavior. In her free time, she likes to draw and read, and what she says really helped her through college, which she wished she incorporated more into her high school, is maintaining discipline and a proper schedule. And she says it's the simple things that go a long way and keep you constantly motivated. So thank you again for being our guest speaker for today, and thank you everyone for coming out. So now I'll turn it over to you.
So, hi everyone. My name is Snigdha Garlapalli, and I'm a second year. So, unlike a lot of people, my high school time only lasted 3 years, from 10th grade to 12th grade. So, I moved to India and I lived there for 3 years, from 7th grade to 9th grade. So, when I came back to Milpitas, I only stayed, I was like here in the beginning of 10th grade, so I didn't have like the same opportunities as like my peers to take the classes I wanted and do I guess things that I found were more challenging. It was like in terms of education and like studying, it was stuff that I already did before and learned before in India. So during that time, my first 2 years, like 10th grade and 11th grade for me, I spent a lot of time like finding what my interests were. And I didn't plan on finding my interests, that just happened on its own. Like I talked to lots of people, like counselors and my seniors and friends, and they would be like, oh, I'm in this club, I'm in that club. And that I was like, okay, maybe I should do the same things as them. So I would join those same things. And slowly I was like, okay, so this isn't my thing, that isn't my thing. And I slowly ruled everything out to things that I liked, right? Because for me, I think a lot of people can relate to this, hopefully. It's easier to find things that I don't like than finding things that I do like. So I think like by ruling out certain things that I didn't like, it was easier for me to find easier things. So I was not involved in many things throughout high school, but I made sure that whatever I did helped in my growth process. So I was part of an environment club. I started out as a simple, like, you know, a member of the club, but then I slowly grew within that, and there's lots of community service involved with that club. So I would help out cleaning areas, cleaning creeks, parks, and one of the big things we did was cleaning out like senior resident homes, and we were able to interact with them, and it was a really nice feeling. And like I soon came to find that like I like helping people a lot, like it leaves a good feeling. So yeah, and I did a lot of tutoring, and I got a lot of awards in that. And something I've been doing since 5th grade was martial arts. So when I lived in the US, or like in California, I went to Taekwondo. And during the 3-year period where I lived in India, I practiced karate. So like I had experience in the martial arts, and I stuck to these three and I grew in them. And in my college applications, that's what I wrote about. I see lots of people like who come to me for advice. They do a lot of things and they stick to they don't grow in it. But I think it's better to in my experience to have like no matter how small it is, as long as you feel like you within it and you grow as a person, it's any experience is enough for college. And so as I said before, I'm majoring in neurobiology, physiology, and behavior. So I was supposed to talk about what interested me to take that major. So the thing is, for me, I'm really interested in like psychology and like the physical aspects of the brain. I took a class in high school for psychology, and I found I really liked that class. So I knew I was going to do something related to like the brain, like anything related to that, and taking into account like all the like community service and stuff like that I did. um, I tended more towards like pre-med. That's like where I want to go. So that's why like within UC Davis, there's a neurobiology option. So I was like, yeah, let's take that. And yeah, I intend to stick to it for now. Um, One of the things I mentioned in my bio was that um, maintaining a proper schedule and discipline, it's very important in college. And um, I I found that difficult. I found that idea really difficult in high school because I used to get tired really easily. But I found that maintaining a schedule and sticking to it keeps me motivated. And it's like when you have one successful day, like that positivity just carries on to the next day and it motivates you to do even more. And yeah. So like in high school, there were many nights where I used to sleep at like 2 or 3 or like pull all-nighters studying for tests. But once I came to college, it's like I used to wake up at 5 instead, and I'd finish off like my things that I'm interested in. Like I'd exercise, I'd go to the gym, I'd do things that I'm interested in, and I do those stuff in the morning. And I used to sleep on time. Like I always maintained a proper schedule of how I prepare for things. So I never put anything to the last minute because uh, one thing that's really important to take into account is that when you're in high school, you have your parents to kind of take care of you and give you shelter, but you don't have that in college. You are fully forced to live alone, do your own things, make your own decisions. And that process was actually kind of hard for me to get into in college because for the longest time I had my parents help me in terms of like what I'm supposed to do. But once it came to college, like you just do your own thing. So finding yourself throughout that process and building a schedule, it's really important. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. Like, are there any questions anyone has?
I have a quick question.
Mhm.
Sorry, I can't turn my camera on, but
Right.
what advice do you have about college applications, just in general? What should we write in them, and what do you think would stand out more?
Okay. So one thing that a lot of people that like my friends and all, they talked about like even if you have a lot of things to talk about, you find things that bring out good characteristics within you. Now, when I was writing my college applications, I felt pretty like down because I was like, I don't have that many important experiences like my friends do. Like they were in speech and debate and all that, and I didn't have that stuff. Like it wasn't in my interests. But I talked about like community service and how that helped me grow as a person. So as I said before, the three main things I was a part of throughout high school was community service throughout like an environmental club, and how I grew to be a board member of that club, and how we did a lot of community service stuff. And I talked about like helping out in like senior resident homes and connecting with people. I talked about um, like moving in general and how that changed me as a person and how it affects me today. Like I'm more adaptable to things, and I don't really give up. Like I guess you have to, even if you have like the smallest of experiences, you have to, like, you while writing you will find something, some character that it brings out in you, and you just have to like keep going back onto that and connect it to how this will help you in your future or in the major of your choice, right? So I talked about how, like, when I moved to India, right? Uh, there was a huge thing, like, you have to adapt to different cultures because the area where I lived, people spoke various languages and everyone had a different belief or culture that they followed. So um, I talked about how, like, when learning languages like Hindi and Telugu and Kannada, I it's like you get a different idea of how people behave. And when I took psychology, it made I found psychology very interesting because, like, I found how, like, I connected it to, like, my language experiences, and it just made me I connected it to how I'm interested in the, like, the mind in general. Like, you just you find, you connect your experiences with what you want to do in the future. Like, I want to, like, I'm in the pre-med field, like, I want to be in the pre-med field. So I would connect any experience I have to why I want to be in the pre-med field, right? Things like that. So, like, no matter how small your experience is, I think as long as you have a clarity on what you want to do or major in, it should be good.
Thank you.
No problem. Are there any other questions? Ooh, UC Davis. I love UC Davis. So my so for me, like, when I was, like, applying for colleges, right? UC Davis was on my priority list. For me, it's like I applied for private schools and others like CSUs and all that, but my main target was the UCs. So like, UC Davis was one of my like, it was where I wanted to go actually. And I went on the tour and I really liked the campus in general. Like, I was in an environment club throughout high school, and um like, the whole, like, green concept, like agriculture or like trees and, being eco-friendly, that's there a lot at Davis, and a lot of people bike there, and you barely see any cars. It's like a very friendly community. Everyone's, like, really chill, and there's no toxic competition, I guess. And I really like that about Davis. And least favorite things, there's no least favorite thing I have about it personally. Uh, I guess the campus is super big, so going from one place to another takes forever, and it just tires you out. Like, I got the best sleep I've ever had at Davis. Yeah, because I was just so tired by the end of the day. Like my roommates and I would just, like, crash by 10:30. That's it. Um, spring season, unfortunately, I wasn't there during spring season thanks to coronavirus. But like, there I was so excited because, they have a picnic day and all these really fun opportunities, which I didn't get to experience, but hopefully I'll get to do that next year. Yeah. Any other questions?
We have a couple of. Oh, okay. We can answer
Okay.
her question and then also the general
Okay.
question.
So what's the housing and dining situation like at Davis? So housing, a lot of people, so in the beginning, oh, I forgot to mention this actually, but I was waitlisted, right? So I was waitlisted in Davis at first. So I heard back from them on May 6th. I remember the date too, because it's a very important day for me. But so, like, I was worried because I was like, oh my God, what if I don't find a roommate? What if like, I have to go random, like, pick a random roommate, and, like, what if they're not good? But I got you covered, or they got you covered, because if you don't like your roommates, or if you don't, like, connect with them the way you want to, there's always a way to transfer out, and you can room with someone else. So that option's always there. And dining situation, this is what I heard, so don't take my word for it, but in all the UCs, um, I think Davis has the second best food dining area. Wait, March last year leaving. Oh man. Oh yeah. So I'll answer the second question next. But so like, I think the dining is fine. You can like one of my roommates, she's like vegan, right? But it wasn't that hard for her to find it wasn't hard for her to get food because like Davis kind of compensates for everything. Like if you're vegan, vegetarian, they'll always have options for you. I guess one thing that was difficult for her though is that she doesn't eat mushrooms. So like, that was hard for her, but otherwise like their food's great and I gained lots of weight and it is good. It was good. Uh, and okay. Yeah. Well, I guess about Davis, one thing that could be bad is allergies because there are trees everywhere. So I I don't have bad allergies, so I never really suffered from it. But like, with the pollen and all that, you could get sick or like get allergies. And switching between majors, so I know that, okay, so basically Davis has four colleges, right? So there's the College of Biological Sciences, College of Letters and Letters and Sciences, and there's the Computer Science College, and I think there's the Agricultural Sciences, and there are like lots of colleges, and for each college, there are a bunch of majors within it. So I know that you can, if you're in the College of Biological Sciences, it's easy to switch between majors within that. But if you're in a College of Letters and Sciences and you want to switch into something within the biological sciences field, it's harder. But it's been like it's been done before, and so they encourage you to like switch majors. Like they gave people hot chocolate for doing that. So I guess like it depends on what major you want to switch into. So that's an important thing. Yeah, there are like heavily impacted majors like computer science or like uh, simple like biological sciences or neurobiology. Like they're really impacted, so it's hard to get into those. But if you want to go from like biological sciences to cognitive sciences or something that's less impacted, it's pretty easy to switch majors, and it's been done. Like a lot of people do that. So are there any benefits of the location for pre-med? Oh, definitely. So Davis has like I think it has like 2 hospitals like nearby. And so Davis gives lots of internship opportunities. So one thing that I found really difficult on my part was finding experiences. Like if you want to get a job that you have to interview for, they're always going to ask you, so what experiences do you have? And I'm like, well, not really, I have none. Like I only have my high school stuff. And I found that very difficult to explain in interviews. But we have this program like health related internships where you sign up for it, and if you get into it, you're good. Like you got an internship and you got an experience. And because and the hospitals are like nearby, and you have buses going there, so it's pretty convenient for pre-med to like to gain experiences, so that for like med school. And there are different type of neuro majors. So what made you choose neurobiology? So initially, So I kind of always knew that I was gonna like I want to be a doctor. So that's like my main goal. Like I want to go into med school. So that's why I chose something like I chose a major within College of Biological Sciences. So that has like 9 different majors, right? So there's regular biological sciences, there's NPB, neurobiology, physiology, and behavior. There's biochem and molecular biology, and there are like a bunch of those, right? And for me, as I said before, I'm more interested in the brain and like neurological things. That's why I chose neurobiology, physiology, and behavior. And are there a limited number of things to do outside of the campus? It's located in a rural area. No, there is downtown Davis, and a lot of people go there over the weekends. And then San Francisco is like I think an hour away, but a lot of people go there. So one thing that Davis has, I think many colleges have this. It's called rideshare. So you there's a Facebook group that you go on to, and um, on the Facebook group, you say, "Oh, I'm going here. Is anyone there to drop me?" And it costs only like $10 to go from one place to another. It depends on how far away it is. But like I live in Milpitas, and to go from Milpitas to Davis, it costs $10. In comparison to like the Amtrak, and like my parents spent like Amtrak costs like $30, and my parents driving me to Davis is like 2 hours of their time, which I don't want to do. So like you can go wherever you want, and it's fairly like cheap. Not yeah, it's fairly cheap. Like you could go anywhere basically, and even within the campus there's like lots of milk tea areas. There's lots of uh, there's like downtown Davis, which is a really interesting place. Lots of people and lots of lights, and yeah. How is the competition in UC Davis for med? Um, so personally, I think there isn't much crazy competition there. Like everyone's smart, but no one really puts another person down. There's actually like we created a pre-med group chat for all the pre-med students within Davis, and we always like share opportunities with each other, and it's like filled with like 250 people, but like we kind of treat each other like friends, and we help each other out. We tell each other like opportunities where you can join a club, or join or like interview for some position for a job and stuff like that. Any research opportunities. So I think the competition there is pretty friendly. It's kind of stressful too, I guess, because you see all these people doing so many things, and I'm like, wait, what am I doing? But you'll get there. So you shouldn't worry too much. It's pretty friendly. Do you know anyone doing CS, like how hard it is? Okay, so I actually do have a friend who's doing CS, and she said that she can finish like getting her degree and everything in like 3 years, 2 or 3 years. So that's why she's like double majoring in like another field, in another major. So like she has more experience, and yeah, she finds it hard, but like in a good way, because she likes computer science in general. And there are actually a lot of international students who take CS, and they're pretty smart people, because like they're from like different countries where they're studying their study habits are different, and they have some experience in things. So uh, I don't think there's toxic competition there either, because she genuinely enjoys what she does. She does get stressed out from time to time, but like she gets a lot of help. So are there any downsides of competition in med? Okay, so competition in med, like I said before, mostly like most of my friends are in the pre-med field, and some are like in the CS field, and like we feel pressured mostly because we're scared of getting rejected by med schools, but not because, oh my gosh, someone's gonna let me down. Like we're pretty tight basically. So um it's so as I said before, getting internships, as long as you like, you just have to click like, okay, I want to be in this internship, and like submit the proper like profiles and like documents. And once you get in, like you're in. You just have to go on time and maintain certain professionalism, and yeah. And but one thing that's hard about internships is that there's so many people trying to get into the same position as you. So it depends on, so we have these, it's like pastimes. So you have a specific time where you enroll for a class, but some people, and they're like limited positions for that internship. So if someone has an earlier pastime than you, it's easier for them to get that position compared to you. Like, does that make sense? Yeah, so that's kind of a hard thing. So I've tried for internships like 2 times now, and I couldn't get in because all the spots are already taken. And I could have gotten it during the spring quarter, but I came home, so I couldn't do that. Um, and also for internships, like in the pre-health field, most of them prefer juniors and seniors. So that's kind of hard to get into because juniors and seniors like have more experience. And in terms of research, like my friend, how she got a research experience was she emailed her professor, and he's like, oh, one of my colleagues are, they have this research opportunity where you dissect houseflies, do you want to do that? And she was like, yeah, sure. So she got that, and she loves it. Like, she can't do it now because of corona, but like, yeah, she, like, it's not too hard. You just need to open up and go out of your comfort zone. Okay, the next, the cafes in Davis are amazing. How big are the classes? The classes are really big, and the classes are actually really big. They're like, I know my biggest class probably had like 350 or 400 people. Like, there are lots of people, but that doesn't mean that it's hard to get close to your professor, because a lot of professors hold office hours at specific times, and there are very few people who go to that. Most of the people who go for office hours, they only go before a midterm or before a test. So if you go regularly, like in between, but they're like 10 people there talking to the professor, and they always ask you for your name. So like, you can get closer through office hours or by emailing the teachers, or yeah, basically you just have to spend more time like in that, like ask questions during class. They will pay attention to you that way. Mental health initiative is a great way to get. I do not know about the UC Davis mental health initiative. And neuroscience, neurobio, so that whole, it's like the second most popular major within biological sciences college. So the first one is most of the people take regular biological sciences, and the second most popular one would be neurobiology, physiology, and behavior. So it's an impacted major, but I'll let you in on a secret. You could also take something like plant biology or something, and you'd have to take the same like biology classes, same chemistry classes. The pre-med requirements for like the MCAT and all that, they're still the same. So you could take something like that. What what neuroscience extracurriculars did you do in high school? Like I didn't really do anything in high school related to neuroscience. I think for me, as I said before, I literally just tutored people. I volunteered a lot, and so I didn't really have any experience once it came directly to pre-med. Um, a lot of people I know, like who are from like Fremont and like Mission, they volunteered at hospitals, and I tried I tried applying for that, but the hospital was really far away from my house. It was like an hour away. Um, and it's like most of the voluntary work we were supposed to do was like greeting people, which I personally felt like it didn't give much experience within the health field, so I didn't take it. um, I think as long as you present yourself as yourself, like it would be all right. Yeah. um like I got into the field by taking like by doing really like small, like lesser known things, but like I grew a lot within those lesser known things, which I presented in my college applications, which I think is very important. So like I think presentation is really important for that. You'd like to know more about interviews. um okay, wait 1 second, I just want some water. Okay, so interviews. So far, I've been to 2 interviews. The first interview I had was with this group called MRAP, which is like emergency medical, like emergency medicine related internship, or not internship, just volunteering. And I didn't get into that. But then like in my first year, I joined this club called Global Medical Brigades. So it's mostly about community service again. But what's different is that it's like we get to fly to underdeveloped countries like Panama, or like places within Africa, and we get to help out people over there in terms of like their health and hygiene and mental health and stuff like that. So I interviewed like 2 weeks ago for for a position in that board, and I they mostly ask about your your qualifications. And the thing is, even if you, again, as a, like same thing with college applications, like even if you have lesser experiences, you like try to tie it into what you want to do, because any experience is an experience, no matter how small or big it is. It's what you learned from it and what you carry on from that and bring into this new thing. That's what matters. And try to show your potential is what I'm trying to say. Like, yeah. I think like they'll ask questions like, oh, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Actually, and at least for global medical brigades, it was like a very thought-provoking questions. Like for example, one question I remember was like, what do you think the term third world country is suitable? And even if you agree with that term, what other terms would you want to use to represent what we call world countries? You know, things like that. And you get like 15 to 30 seconds to prepare, and then you just like go. It's kind of nerve-wracking, but like you just need to have lots of clarity on your thoughts. And can you give us tips on cold emailing professors? What do you mean by cold emailing? Like, can you like type that down? And next, do you have any tips for making yourself a more qualified applicant for these research internships. So as I said, before, like we have internships that you don't need any experience for, but as long as you go there on time and you do what you're supposed to do, you can use that. You'll stay within that internship basically, and whatever experience you gain from that, when you actually do an interview, you can use that experience to express your potential. So the thing about like Davis's health related internships is that you don't get interviewed. It's just you go there on time, you do what you're supposed to do, and yeah, that's like the basic expectations. And everything else is based on how much work you put into it. Like since we're actually working alongside doctors, like it's up to you to make the best of what you've got, and you express that during your interviews as an experience. So cold emailing, okay, for research or internship opportunities. So like my friend, she I took a class on this actually. We mention our name and we go like, okay, so I was in your class this quarter, this year, this is the grade I got, and I'm really like interested in your class and what we learned about in your class, right? And I really want to know more about this. And I was wondering if you have any research opportunities that can help me extend my knowledge on this topic. Or like, yeah, and they will contact you back, because professors, you know, they email students a lot. They'll contact you back, and like in the case of my friend who got a research opportunity by emailing a professor, he referred her to another professor, and the other professor contacted her and was like, okay, like, are you up for an interview on this day? And she's like, yeah, sure. So during the interview, he just like, apparently he didn't even ask her any questions. He just told her what they research about, and she was like, oh, okay. And she asked him questions. It was more of her asking him questions, and like he saw like, okay, like what exactly she's interested in and whether her questions were like suitable for what they were researching, that kind of thing. So yeah, and she got the research opportunity. So one thing I know is that like if you're in a pre-med field, right? To go into med school, you need lots of research hours. And in fact, even if you're going to graduate school, right? You need lots of research hours. So it's important to get as much experience as you can through internships, so that when you do give an interview, you have experiences to talk about. Like no matter how big or small, anything is important. What are some clubs at UC Davis? Okay, so there are a lot of clubs. So back last summer, before I even started at UC Davis, it was like I looked into a lot of clubs actually. And one thing, there were like lots of dance clubs. There were like lots of K-pop dance clubs, or like Bollywood dancing clubs, or I'm thinking there are lots of health related stuff. There's like American Red Cross, and there's like the one I'm in, Global Medical Brigades. There are lots of environment related clubs. And even if you're in CS, right, they always, one thing I like about Davis is that they always keep you updated with the events within your major or your college. So I'm in the College of Biological Sciences. So I'd always get emails like, okay, like all the clubs related to biological sciences are going to be out today, and you can sign up for clubs, right? So I signed up for lots of clubs that way. There's like this club about cows and milking cows, and there's like a club on on really random things, making coffee, and it's like, yeah, and lots of people are interested. So you can literally join any club. I just stuck to Global Medical Brigades because it's a community service based thing, which I have lots of experience in throughout high school. And I found like going to a different country and helping out people like really nice. So yeah, so I stuck to that club. So what were some factors you kept in mind while choosing which colleges to apply to? Oh, so that's a good question. For me, so the applications for the UCs open around August, I think. So like a month before that, like my preparation was really like whack throughout my whole high school thing. But like during my senior year, that's when I was like, you know what, you gotta like toughen up, like build some sort of like schedule. And during that time, I I looked at the top 1,000 colleges for my major, right? For the not major, but like the field I'm interested in, which is biology. So, and then I divided it. I took all the UCs, the CSUs that are good for my major, and I took some private schools that I can consider as safety schools to get into. And the next thing I did was I compared them based on how far away they are, how much they costed, and yeah, cost was like a major thing. Like my goal from the beginning was a UC. So I kind of ranked the UCs in terms of which one I wanted to get into the most. So for like I guess like anyone else, I was like, yeah, like LA, Berkeley, and all that. I didn't get into those places, but they were like an option, right? They were like on my top list, and then Davis and Santa Barbara and Santa Cruz, San Diego, all these places, and uh, yeah, so I ranked them based on how far away they were, how much they costed, how much. And after I started getting into colleges, it was more like how much financial aid I got. And yeah, so those are major factors. I got waitlisted into a lot of colleges, but like just because you're waitlisted doesn't mean that you're rejected, because most of the times when you're waitlisted you have a high chance of getting into that college. Wait, so the next question, are there any study abroad programs at UC Davis? There are study abroad programs, like you can spend an like entire quarter at another like country having hands-on experiences with things. And a lot of people go for study abroad programs, and during the summer it's even shorter, so it's like 6 weeks. So and I went to a study abroad seminar, and a lot of people said they had lots of fun because they made many friends, they got lots of hands-on experience that they didn't get while studying just at UC Davis. So yeah. If you don't mind sharing, what other universities did I get into? So, oops, okay. So I applied to like 23 colleges, which is a lot. But most of those were like the CSUs and the UCs. So I got into Davis, Santa Barbara, Santa Cruz, Riverside, yeah, that's basically it. I didn't apply to Merced. I didn't get into Irvine, and I did not get into LA or Berkeley. And then CSUs, I think I applied for San Jose, San Diego, and there were three other ones I forgot. I think San Luis Obispo was one of them, and I got into all of them, but like they aren't really like rank wise, they're like pretty good colleges, but I wasn't interested in attending those colleges, so it was I didn't really pay much attention to those. I think one of my options was Case Western University, and that's all the way in Ohio, but it has lots of research opportunities, and it's in like the top 50, I think. I don't. It's a really good college, so I was planning on going there. But one of the things that stopped me was like the cost of it, because that was one thing I kept in mind. Um, and I applied to places like Purdue and some safety schools were like really random ones. There's this one called Indiana Bloomington University. I never heard of that before, like I applied, but like someone suggested it to me as like a safety school, and I applied to Urbana-Champaign and I got into that one, and yeah, Purdue, I got into that. Like um, yeah, so there were like 23 colleges like that. I don't remember exactly which ones I applied to, but I paid a lot of attention to their cost and um, the cost, financial aid, and how far away they were. Uh, I yeah, a lot of I recognized a lot of MHS students who are going to Davis. So yeah, and oh, you have friends that go to Case Western? That's cool. I wanted to go there. I visited that college and I found it like really it was really cool. Yeah, like especially the downtown is it's nice. So are there any other questions? Oh, okay. I've heard many people talk about certain schools having GPA inflation or deflation. How is that at Davis? I like, do you mean by like curving tests and stuff like that? Like, so I'll talk about like what I understood from the question. Like it's like if you have an A, that's like A or A plus, that's a 4.0. If you have an A minus, that's a 3.7. If you have a B, that's 3.5. A B or B plus is a 3.5. Yeah. And so it just keeps going down like that. But the thing is, a lot of people fail the midterms. So a lot of people get like 50s, 50s, 60s. So what the teachers do in that case is they curve it, right? So whatever the average is, like suppose the average was like a 25 out of 100, okay? They'd change the 25 to a 75. So like if you got 100% on that test, you are good to go. That's like an A. So it's like a good I don't know about like the GPA inflation or deflation, but like your grades can be boosted a lot. Like you can have a 70% or 70% in a class and it could still round up to a B plus. It's possible. Anything's possible. So did you take the SAT subject tests? Would you recommend them for applying to the UCs? So I took biology and math for my SAT subject tests, and I didn't really do great in them. I think I got a 770 in math, and for bio, I got 740. Which for me was like not that great because in my practice tests, I did like way better. But I read something that said that the UCs don't require SATs anymore. I'm not sure how accurate that is, but I like even during when I was applying, the SAT subject tests weren't that important, but I still took them just in case. So I think it's like a good safety option just to show that you are like knowledgeable in something. So yeah. Any other questions? Is there anything that you need like confirmation on that I didn't explain properly?
We only have 2 more minutes left until the session. We actually have another session after this, so we have to end it. But I guess if anyone has any more questions, they can email our email, #SAMPofficial.com. And I guess if they're specific, we can just forward them to you, and then maybe we can like get back to our team if they have any more questions, if that's okay with you. But yeah, we're ending the near of the session, so I think we might have to stop now. But thank you so much. This was very informative. I'm interested in neuroscience and psychology, so this was very informative for me as well, and I'm sure for everyone that attended the session. So thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to come talk to us, and thank you everyone for attending. So if no one has any last minute questions, I think that we can end the session now.
Okay, bye.
Thank you so much again. Bye everyone. Thank you.
Bye.